So let's talk about the importance of a horse's head being low. Horses raise their head when they're in danger, or when they think they're in danger. If they raise their head, there are a couple of reasons why they raise their head. They raise their head so they can get their ears higher. They can hear that danger a little bit better. They raise their head because if they raise their head, they look down their nose. They can cross their eyes. They can get depth perception in their eyes and see how that danger is coming towards them a little bit better. They also get their noses up a little bit higher and get them open so they can smell whatever possible danger there is. So you can think about horses in their head height this way. A horse whose head is high is paying attention to some external source that could, in their mind, possibly eat them. All right. A horse's head is low, right, is a horse who's calm, who's relaxed, who isn't worried about what's going to eat them, and is ready to pay attention to us, right? And that's what we want when we're working with a horse, is we want a horse who can pay attention to us, fully to us, right? And not to an external source. So what I like to do with horses is I like to try to get them in that nice calm space before I work with them. To get them calm, I like to get their head down. Just by getting their head down, that tends to relax the horse, all right? So how do I get a horse like Brody here to lower his head, right? Brody's a good boy, so he'll listen pretty well, but it's going to be the same across the board, whether you're working with a horse who's scared of everything right now or a horse who's a little more calm like Brody. You want to go through a rule of three, basically. You want to ask them to lower their head, and that's simply just by putting your hand down here and asking them to come down to it, right? If that doesn't work, then I can put a little bit of pressure right here and ask him to lower his head. And if that doesn't work, I can put a little bit more pressure and ask him to lower it, right? If every single time you come up to your horse, you come at him and say, "Hey, Brody, how's it going?" Right? This is a reaction you're going to get, a scared horse with their head high, right? "Hey, Brody, how's it going?" If I do that a couple more times, what I'm going to get is every time I come towards the horse, it's going to back up, you see? So this is what I can do instead. See, he's a little nervous now. So what I can do is, every time I come up to the horse, I'm going to put my hand out and let him come down and smell. You see, I allowed him to come down to my hand, right? So I'm going to come up again. He's still a little nervous about me, right? I'm going to let him come in and put his head down into my hand. All right, good boy. Good boy. All right, let him smell me, let him put his head down. Want him to relax a little bit more, I'll put a little bit of pressure. Good boy, come on. Now I'll ask him to follow me again. All right, so I had a scared horse. I started to relax him. I got him to put his head down by asking, putting my hand here, telling if he doesn't listen, and commanding it if he really doesn't listen, right? And I can tell him he's a good boy every once in a while, which is always a good idea. If you do this over and over again, what you'll get is a horse that as you approach him, instead of backing up, they're going to start relaxing. You see him chewing his mouth, chewing, taking a big deep breath, putting their head down. These are all signs of a horse who's comfortable, relaxed, calm, and ready to work. Right, bud? Just put your head down.